Introduction: The Seed of Change. In the heart of the Himalayas, nestled among the towering peaks and verdant valleys, lies a land of profound beauty and ancient traditions. Nepal, a country rich in culture and history, is also a land of contrasts, where breathtaking landscapes meet challenges that test the resilience of its people. It is here, in a small village cradled by the mountains, that a story of hope and transformation begins. A story that would transcend the boundaries of a single community to inspire a nation. This narrative, titled Seeds of Tomorrow, a tale of resilience and hope in Nepal, unfolds with the journey of Arohi, a young girl whose vision for a better future ignites a movement of change. Born into a world where the daily struggle for sustenance and the weight of tradition often overshadow dreams of progress, Arohi dares to imagine a different path. Her story is a testament to the power of one individual's dream to awaken the collective spirit of a community, a reminder that within the heart of every challenge lies the seed of opportunity. Arohi's vision is simple yet revolutionary, a community garden that would not only nourish her village, but also sow the seeds of unity and empowerment. This garden becomes the cornerstone of a broader movement towards sustainable living, education reform, and social cohesion. It is a symbol of what can be achieved when people come together, inspired by a shared purpose and guided by the belief that change is possible. As we embark on this journey with Arohi, we explore the themes of resilience, community, and hope. We witness the transformation of a village bound by the constraints of poverty and tradition into a beacon of innovation and progress. Through the eyes of Arohi and her fellow villagers, we are invited to reconsider our own relationship with the environment, the importance of education, and the strength that lies in community. The introduction to Seeds of Tomorrow sets the stage for a story that is both deeply personal and universally resonant. It is a narrative that challenges us to look beyond the immediate horizon and to dream of a future where every individual has the opportunity to flourish. As we follow Arohi's journey from dream to reality, we are reminded of the enduring power of hope and the transformative potential of collective action. In this tale of resilience and hope, we find not just a reflection of Nepal's struggles and aspirations, but also a blueprint for sustainable development and community empowerment that transcends geographical and cultural boundaries. Seeds of Tomorrow is an invitation to embark on a journey of discovery, to plant our own seeds of change, and to nurture them into the gardens of tomorrow. Chapter 1: A Dream in the Valley. In the shadow of the Himalayas, where the sky kisses the peaks of towering mountains, lies a village that time seems to have forgotten. It is here, in this cradle of nature, that our story begins. A tale not of a place, but of its people, and of a young girl named Arohi, whose dreams are as vast as the landscape that surrounds her. Arohi's life is woven into the fabric of her village, a tapestry of tradition and simplicity. Her family's home, a modest structure of wood and stone, stands as a testament to generations of survival and resilience. It's within these walls, under the gentle glow of an oil lamp, that Arohi's grandfather regales her with tales of a Nepal filled with prosperity and promise. His stories, seasoned with the wisdom of age, speak of a land where every individual holds the power to shape their destiny, a concept that sparks a fire in Arohi's young heart. Each day, Arohi helps her family with chores, tending to the fields that stretch like a patchwork quilt across the valley. The work is hard, the sun relentless, but it's during these moments of toil that Arohi's mind wanders to the possibilities. that lie beyond the confines of her village. She sees the potential in her people, a resilience born of centuries of hardship, yet untapped like a river waiting to be set free. The village, for all its beauty, is not without its struggles. The school, a small building perched on the edge of the village, is in a state of disrepair. The education it offers is a reflection of a system that has long prioritized rote learning over critical thinking and innovation. Arohi, with her insatiable curiosity, often finds herself at odds with this method of teaching, yearning for knowledge that extends beyond the walls of her classroom. It's in the quiet hours of the evening, as the sun dips below the horizon and the mountains cast long shadows over the valley, that Arohi's dreams grow wings. She envisions a community united in purpose, harnessing the collective strength of its people to overcome the challenges that have long held them back. The seed of change, she realizes, lies not in waiting for outside intervention, but in the hands of the villagers themselves. Driven by a desire to see her dreams come to fruition, Arohi begins to lay the groundwork for what will become her first step towards transforming her village. She speaks with her friends, her family, and anyone who will listen, sharing her vision of a community garden. It's a simple concept, but one that she believes can reignite the spark of hope in the hearts of her people. Skepticism greets her at every turn. The idea of change, of deviating from the path that has been tread for generations, is met with resistance. But Arohi is undeterred. Her passion, infectious and unwavering, begins to chip away at the walls of doubt that have encased her village. As the chapter closes on Arohi's initial efforts to inspire her community, the stage is set for a journey of transformation. The young girl, with dreams as vast as the valley that cradles her village, stands at the precipice of change, ready to lead her people into a future where their potential knows no bounds. Chapter 2. The First Seed. The first rays of dawn crept over the mountains, casting a golden glow on Arohi's village. It was a new day, but for Arohi, it marked the beginning of an endeavor that could change the course of her community's history. With the conviction of her dreams fueling her steps, she ventured out, a sense of purpose lighting her path. Today, she would plant the first seed of change, not in the fertile earth of the fields, but in the hearts and minds of her fellow villagers. Her idea was simple yet revolutionary: a community garden. This garden would be more than just a source of sustenance. It was to be a symbol of unity, cooperation, and the village's ability to foster growth from within. Arohi envisioned a place where the community could come together, breaking the soil as they broke down the barriers that had kept them isolated in their struggles. The task ahead was daunting. The village, set in its ways, was wary of change. Arohi's previous attempts to spark enthusiasm for her vision had been met with skepticism. Change is a wind that blows uncaringly, one elder had told her. It disturbs the peace and rarely brings good. Yet, undeterred by their doubts, Arohi understood that true change required patience and persistence. She needed to show her village the potential of their collective effort to turn the skepticism into belief. Armed with nothing but her resolve and a few borrowed tools, Arohi set out to the plot of land at the edge of the village. It was a small, forgotten piece of earth, overgrown with weeds and remnants of past failures. To others, it was a symbol of futility, but to Arohi, it represented untapped potential. As she began to clear the land, her solitary figure drew curious glances from some of the villagers. Children, always quick to sense an adventure, were the first to join her. Their laughter and energy breathed life into the endeavor, and slowly, as the sun climbed higher, more villagers ventured forth. Some came out of curiosity, others out of a sense of communal duty, but all were drawn into the orbit of Arohi's dream. With every weed pulled and every seed planted, the garden began to take shape. Arohi shared her vision with all who would listen, speaking of how the garden could feed their bodies and spirits. She talked of sustainability, of education, of a future where their children could grow up in a village that thrived, not just survived. The work was hard, the progress slow. But as the day wore on, something remarkable happened. The initial reluctance of the villagers gave way to a sense of camaraderie and pride. Hands that were once idle were now busy, working the earth, sharing stories, and planting hopes for the future. The garden became a canvas upon which the village painted its aspirations. By the end of the day, the once barren plot was transformed. Seeds of vegetables and herbs were nestled in the soil, but more importantly, the seeds of change were sown in the community. Arohi looked around at the faces of her fellow villagers, flushed with exertion, but bright with something more, hope. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with strokes of orange and pink, the village gathered to look at their day's work. There, in the twilight, the garden stood as a testament to their collective effort, a symbol of what they could achieve together. Arohi knew that this was just the beginning. The garden would need care and dedication to flourish, as would the seeds of change she hoped to cultivate in her village. But as she stood there, surrounded by her community, she felt a surge of optimism. For the first time, the path ahead seemed a little less daunting. The day had started with a single person's effort, but it ended with a community united. The first seed of change, fragile yet resilient, had been planted. Now, it was up to the village to nurture it, to allow it to grow and transform their lives in ways they had never imagined. Chapter 3: The Garden Grows. As the days lengthened into weeks, the community garden that had once been a mere patch of dirt and ambition began to flourish. Under the watchful care of Arohi and the villagers, sprouts pushed their way through the soil, reaching toward the sun's nurturing embrace. The garden, a living mosaic of greens, yellows, and reds, became a vibrant testament to the village's newfound unity and determination. Arohi, whose dream had sown the first seed of this transformation, watched as the garden grew, her heart swelling with pride. It was not just the plants that were thriving. The village itself seemed to awaken from a long slumber. The garden had become more than a source of sustenance. It was a gathering place, a classroom without walls, and a symbol of communal resilience. Each morning, as the mist clung to the mountainsides, villagers of all ages made their way to the garden. Elderly hands, seasoned by years of toil, worked alongside the eager fingers of the young, teaching and learning in equal measure. The garden was a place where stories were shared, where laughter mingled with the songs of birds, and where the barriers that had once divided the community seemed to dissolve into the earth. The success of the garden ignited a spark of innovation within the village. Arohi, ever the visionary, proposed the construction of a rainwater harvesting system to irrigate the garden. It was an ambitious project, but the village, buoyed by their recent achievements, embraced the challenge with enthusiasm. Together, they pooled their knowledge and resources, crafting a system that not only provided water for the garden, but also stood as a symbol of their ability to harness the environment's bounty sustainably. As the garden grew, so did the villagers' sense of ownership and pride. It was no longer Arohi's project, but a communal endeavor that belonged to everyone. The garden had sown the seeds of change, fostering a spirit of cooperation that extended beyond its borders. Villagers who had once watched from the sidelines now stepped forward, eager to contribute their skills and ideas to the collective effort. The transformation was not confined to the garden or the technological innovations it inspired. It permeated the very fabric of the village, influencing attitudes toward education, health, and sustainability. Arohi organized workshops and discussions in the garden, turning it into a forum for exchange and learning. Topics ranged from sustainable farming practices to nutrition, from women's empowerment to the importance of education for all children. The garden became a catalyst for broader social change. Women, who had traditionally been relegated to the margins of decision making, now found their voices heard and their contributions valued. The youth, inspired by Arohi's example, began to envision a future filled with possibilities, their ambitions no longer constrained by the horizon. As the season turned and the garden bore its first fruits, the village celebrated not just the harvest, but the journey that had brought them to this point. The festival was a riot of color and joy, a reflection of the community's diversity and unity. Amidst the dancing and feasting, Arohi looked around at the faces of her fellow villagers, marked by smiles and a shared sense of accomplishment. In that moment, she realized that the garden had grown more than just vegetables. It had cultivated a community. The villagers, once isolated by doubt and tradition, now stood together, bound by a common purpose. The garden was a living proof that when people unite for a common cause, they can transform not only their environment, but also themselves. The story of the garden spread, carried on the winds that swept through the valleys and over the mountains. It became a beacon of hope, inspiring other communities to embark on their own journeys of change. And as the news of their success traveled, so did the realization that the power to shape the future lay within them, in the strength of their unity and the resilience of their spirit. Chapter 4: A Vision for the Future. The garden's success had woven a new fabric into the life of the village, one embroidered with the threads of unity, learning, and shared purpose. Arohi, standing amidst the verdant bounty that her dream had cultivated, could see the tangible changes in her community. Yet, her vision reached beyond the flourishing garden, towards an even greater horizon: the transformation of the village's approach to education. Inspired by the garden's role as an informal classroom, Arohi began to imagine a new kind of learning environment for the village, an education that went beyond the worn-out textbooks and rote memorization that characterized the village school, to encompass the lessons of the earth, the wisdom of the elders, and the innovative spirit of the younger generation. She envisioned a holistic education system that prepared the children not just for exams, but for life. With the same determination that had brought the community garden to life, Arohi shared her vision with the village. She spoke of schools where children learned about sustainability through the rhythm of planting and harvesting, where mathematics was taught through the geometry of weaving baskets, and history was learned through the stories of their ancestors. It was an ambitious vision, but Arohi's passion and the garden's success had shown the village that even the loftiest dreams were within reach. To bring this vision to life, Arohi knew she needed the support of the entire community. She organized meetings under the shade of the garden's largest tree, inviting parents, teachers, and local leaders to join the conversation. Together, they discussed the future of education in the village, each voice adding depth and perspective to the vision. The idea of integrating the garden into the school curriculum was met with enthusiasm. Teachers, rejuvenated by the prospect of a more dynamic and interactive teaching method, began to develop lesson plans that incorporated the garden. Mathematics lessons included calculating the area needed for planting. Science classes explored the biology of plants, and social studies discussions delved into the importance of sustainable living. As the community rallied around the new educational vision, the school itself underwent a transformation. Walls that had once confined the aspirations of its students were now adorned with murals depicting the village's journey from isolation to unity, from stagnation to growth. Classrooms spilled out into the open, where the sky and earth became canvases for learning. The changes in the village did not go unnoticed. Neighboring communities, inspired by the stories of transformation, began to visit, eager to see the garden and the revitalized school. Arohi and the villagers welcomed them, sharing their experiences and the lessons they had learned along the way. The garden, once a seed of change for the village, was now a beacon of inspiration for the wider region. But the transformation was not without its challenges. Traditionalists within the village voiced concerns over the new methods, fearing the loss of cultural heritage amidst the rush towards modernization. Arohi understood these fears, recognizing the importance of balancing innovation with tradition. She worked to ensure that the new curriculum honored and preserved the village's cultural identity, weaving traditional songs, dances, and crafts into the fabric of learning. The integration of the garden and a holistic approach to education began to bear fruit, much like the garden itself. Test scores improved, but more importantly, the children exhibited a newfound enthusiasm for learning. They approached problems with creativity and critical thinking, equipped with the knowledge and skills to envision a brighter future for themselves and their community. Arohi watched as the village's children, once passive recipients of knowledge, became active participants in their own education. They asked questions, sought solutions, and dreamed of possibilities previously unimagined. It was a transformation that went beyond the confines of the classroom, touching every aspect of village life. As the chapter closes, Arohi stands at the edge of the garden, gazing at the school beyond. The laughter of children, the buzz of engaged minds, and the vibrant colors of the murals paint a picture of hope and promise. Arohi's vision for the future, once a dream whispered in the heart of a young girl, had taken root in the heart of the community, growing into a living testament to the power of education to change the world. Chapter 5: A Ripple Across the Water. As the village embraced the new dawn of holistic education and sustainable living, the ripples of their transformation extended far beyond their own borders, carrying the seeds of change to distant corners of Nepal. Arohi's village, once a secluded hamlet in the embrace of the mountains, became a beacon of progress and a testament to the power of community spirit and innovation. Word of the village's achievements spread like wildfire, carried by the wind and woven into the songs of traveling merchants. Stories of a garden that united a community and of a school where children learned not just from books, but from the rhythm of the earth, reached the ears of people hungry for change. These tales, rich with the promise of empowerment and growth, ignited a spark in other communities, inspiring them to embark on their own journeys of transformation. Leaders from neighboring villages began to visit, drawn by curiosity and a thirst for knowledge. They walked the paths of the community garden, marveled at the vibrancy of the school, and listened intently as Arohi and her fellow villagers shared their story. These visitors saw firsthand the impact of collective action and the potential for education to transcend traditional boundaries, planting the seeds of hope in their hearts. Encouraged by the success of Arohi's village, these neighboring communities started to implement their own versions of the garden and to rethink their approach to education. Each village adapted the concept to fit their unique circumstances, leading to a diverse tapestry of community driven projects across the region. Some focused on water conservation techniques, others on renewable energy sources, and yet others on weaving local art and culture into the fabric of their education systems. Despite the variations, the underlying principles remained the same: unity, sustainability, and a forward looking vision. The movement that Arohi's dream had sparked was now a living, breathing entity, growing in strength and reach with each passing day. It was a movement characterized not by a single voice, but by a chorus of voices, each contributing to the symphony of change. As the network of transformed communities expanded, it began to attract attention from beyond the immediate region. NGOs and government officials, intrigued by the reports of grassroots innovation and community empowerment, came to see the changes for themselves. They witnessed the tangible outcomes of the village's efforts: increased food security, improved educational outcomes, and a renewed sense of agency among the villagers. These observations served as a powerful argument for the replication of similar initiatives in other parts of Nepal and beyond. Arohi, once a solitary dreamer, found herself at the heart of a growing movement. She traveled to other villages, sharing her experiences and learning from the successes and challenges faced by others. Each visit reinforced her belief in the power of community action and the transformative potential of education. The ripple effect of the village's transformation was not limited to rural areas. It began to influence policy discussions at the national level. Advocates for sustainable development and educational reform pointed to Arohi's village as a model of what could be achieved through community participation and holistic approaches to learning. In the midst of this expanding network of change, Arohi's village continued to innovate and grow. The community garden became an agricultural innovation hub, experimenting with new crops and sustainable farming practices. The school introduced vocational training programs, empowering students with the skills needed to thrive in a changing world. The village itself became a living classroom, a place where theory met practice, and where every day offered new lessons in resilience, creativity, and hope. As the chapter closes, the impact of a single village's journey ripples across the landscape of Nepal, transforming the fabric of society one community at a time. Arohi's dream, once confined to the borders of her own village, now resonated across valleys and mountains, a clarion call for change that was echoed by thousands. The movement she ignited was a testament to the enduring power of hope, the strength of community, and the boundless potential of collective action to shape a brighter future. Chapter 6: The path forward. The transformation that began in a small village, fueled by Arohi's vision and the collective will of its people, had grown into a nationwide movement, reshaping the landscape of Nepal. This tapestry of change, woven from countless acts of courage, innovation, and cooperation, presented a new narrative for the nation, one of hope, empowerment, and sustainable progress. As the movement gained momentum, it also faced new challenges. The rapid spread of change brought to light the complexities of balancing tradition with innovation, local autonomy with national policy, and individual initiative with collective action. Arohi, who had become a symbol of this transformative journey, found herself navigating these challenges, working to ensure that the essence of the movement remained true to its roots while adaptable to the diverse needs of a changing country. The impact of the grassroots movement on national consciousness was profound. Conversations about governance began to shift, with increased emphasis on transparency, accountability, and participatory decision making. The successes of Arohi's village and those that followed served as powerful examples of what could be achieved when communities were empowered to take charge of their own destinies. This realization sparked a revolution of policies, leading to greater support for initiatives that prioritized environmental sustainability, educational reform, and community empowerment. Education, once confined to the traditional classroom, had been reimagined as a lifelong, holistic process that extended beyond the school walls into the heart of the community. The national curriculum began to incorporate lessons learned from the movement, emphasizing practical skills, environmental stewardship, and civic responsibility. Schools across Nepal transformed into vibrant centers of learning and innovation, reflecting the diverse cultures, languages, and traditions of their communities, while preparing students for the challenges of the 21st century. The environmental sustainability initiatives pioneered by Arohi's village inspired a national conversation about Nepal's relationship with its natural resources. Policies were introduced to promote sustainable agriculture, renewable energy, and conservation efforts, acknowledging the critical role of environmental stewardship in the country's development. Communities across Nepal embraced these initiatives, recognizing the interconnectedness of their well-being with the health of the land. As the movement grew, so did the network of communities, organizations, and individuals committed to its ideals. Annual gatherings were established, providing a forum for sharing experiences, strategies, and innovations. These gatherings became a melting pot of ideas, where people from different backgrounds and regions came together to learn from one another and to weave new threads into the fabric of the movement. Amidst this whirlwind of activity, Arohi remained a guiding light. Her journey from a dreamer in a small village to a leader of a national movement was a testament to the power of belief and the impact of action. Yet, she remained humble, always insisting that the true architects of change were the communities themselves, each contributing in their own way to the tapestry of transformation. As the chapter and the story draws to a close, Nepal stands at the threshold of a new era. The path forward is not without its uncertainties, but the foundation laid by Arohi and the countless others who joined her in the journey towards change is solid. The challenges that lie ahead are met with a newfound resilience and optimism, born from the collective realization that the power to shape the future resides not in the hands of a few, but in the hands of all who dare to dream and to act. The story of Arohi and her village is a beacon of hope, not just for Nepal, but for the world. It serves as a reminder that change, however daunting it may seem, begins with a single step, a single seed. And from that seed, nourished by the collective efforts of a community, can grow a garden of possibility, transforming the barren landscapes of despair into fertile fields of hope. Conclusion. In the embrace of the Himalayas, a story unfolded, a story of a small village that dared to dream of change. This tale, rooted in the fertile soil of hope and watered by the sweat of perseverance, grew beyond the confines of a single community to touch the heart of a nation. The journey of Arohi and her village became a beacon of transformation, illuminating a path of sustainable development, education reform, and communal harmony for Nepal. The conclusion of this story is not an end, but a beginning, the dawn of a new era marked by the empowerment of communities and the realization that true change comes from within. The movement that sprang from Arohi's dream and spread across the valleys and mountains of Nepal serves as a testament to the power of collective action and the indomitable spirit of humanity. As we reflect on the journey, several key themes emerge as the pillars of this transformative movement. Empowerment through education. The shift towards holistic and practical education has ignited a passion for learning, equipping the next generation with the tools to innovate, adapt, and thrive in a rapidly changing world. Sustainability as a way of life. The embrace of sustainable practices, from agriculture to resource management, has redefined the relationship between communities and their environment, ensuring that development does not come at the cost of the planet. Community as the catalyst for change. The story underscores the belief that the strength of a nation lies in the unity and collective will of its people. It is in the communal spirit that solutions to long-standing challenges are found and implemented. The balance of tradition and innovation, Arohi's journey highlights the importance of respecting and preserving cultural heritage while embracing new ideas and technologies. This balance is crucial in crafting a future that honors the past while forging ahead. Leadership and vision. The role of visionary leadership, as exemplified by Arohi, in guiding and inspiring collective action, cannot be overstated. True leaders are those who can dream of a better world and mobilize others to turn that dream into reality. As the story of Seeds of Tomorrow, a tale of resilience and hope in Nepal, concludes, the legacy of Arohi's village lives on, not just in the physical transformations it underwent, but in the hearts and minds of all those it inspired. It serves as a powerful reminder that no dream is too small, no challenge too great, when faced with courage, unity, and a shared vision for a better world. The tale of Arohi and her village may have reached its conclusion, but the journey of change it sparked continues. Across Nepal and beyond, communities are awakening to their potential, driven by the belief that a better future is not only possible, but within their grasp. In the story of this small village lies a universal truth, that hope, nurtured by action, can indeed transform the world.